Erik ten Hag says he will cherish the 2 trophies he won with Manchester United for the rest of his life. As the Dutchman spoke out about his Old Trafford sacking for the first time, Ten Hag was dismissed by United's Ineos owners on Monday after a poor run of form, culminating in a 2-1 defeat at West Ham less than 24 hours earlier, saw the Reds slump to 14th in the Premier League table. In an open letter to supporters on Friday night, Ten Hag thanked United supporters for their unshakable support as he admitted his regret at not being able to add to the League Cup and FA Cup triumphs he recorded during his first 2 seasons at the club. Thank you for always being there for the club. Whether it was at a game far away or a tough match at Old Trafford, your support has been unshakable. The atmosphere at Old Trafford has always been electrifying, thanks to you. I felt it many times. Also in away games, it gave the team and me an incredible feeling to hear the United chants taking over the opponent's stadiums, whether the game was in England, Europe or during the summer tours. I always enjoyed meeting Manchester United fans throughout the world. Walking the streets and being able to chat with fans in England, Europe, Asia, Australia, the USA. You inspired me and radiated a strong sense of unity. That's what makes United supporters so special. I want to thank you for giving me this feeling and for your support. I also want to thank the staff in every department of the club for their unwavering support in good times and bad. We won 2 trophies achievements that I will cherish for the rest of my life. On course, my dream was to bring more trophies to the cabinet. Unfortunately, that dream has come to an end. I wish all Manchester United fans nothing but success, trophies and glory. Your support and the warmth I receive from everyone at the club help me feel at home. Thank you for this chapter in my life. On Friday, hours before Ten Hag broke his silence over his dismissal, United announced the appointment of Sporting CP manager Ruben Amorim. The 39-year-old will become the club's 6th permanent manager of the post-Sir Alex Ferguson era when he begins his position next month. His first game as United manager will come at Ipswich Town on November the 24th. Interim manager Ruud van Nistelrooy will be targeting a second win in as many matches when Manchester United welcome Chelsea to Old Trafford in the Premier League on Sunday afternoon. United made a flying start to the Dutchman's stint as caretaker manager on Wednesday night, beating Leicester City 5-2 in the 4th round of the Carabao Cup. The focus for Van Nistelrooy now switches back to the bread and butter of the league and attempting to transform United's fortunes. They head into this weekend's action sat 14th in the table. United have won just 1 of their last 5 league matches and are desperately in need of 3 points to start climbing the ladder. Chelsea, however, will pose a stern test, having won 4 of their last 6 league matches. Ahead of the visit of the Londoners, Van Nistelrooy is poised to pick from the same group of players who were involved against Leicester in midweek. With that said, here is all the very latest on the United injury front. United issued an update on Euro last month, confirming he had started training outside at Carrington. He has been unavailable since fracturing his metatarsal in the opening game of United's pre-season tour of the United States in July. United anticipated he would be sidelined for around 3 months after undergoing surgery at the start of August. He was walking without crutches as soon as early September and has been working hard in the gym at Carrington since. He will not be rushed, and his competitive debut for the club is not imminent. Possible return date: November. Maguire has been absent since being forced off against Aston Villa prior to the international break. He limped off the field, requiring support from members of the United medical team, and was replaced by Matthijs de Ligt just before half-time. Maguire posted on social media that he would be out for a few weeks, something former United boss Erik ten Hag confirmed a few days later. He has missed the last 4 matches. Shaw has now gone 8 full months without playing for United. After originally being tipped to return after the first international break of the season in September, and then after the second last month, his absence is still ongoing. Speaking after the defeat to West Ham United last weekend, Ten Hag confirmed Shaw had suffered a setback and that his recovery is not going in the direction United would have hoped for. He said the process is not going as we expected. That's the truth. The setback, if you want to call it like this, we want also to do it very careful. When he is now dropping again, we want to be very careful. We know his past. We have to do this right, because we want him to be available, because he will have a big impact on our performances and also on our levels. We can't have him playing for some games and then drop out again. So, we will do it very carefully. Malacia has been training with the first team in recent weeks, offering encouragement that his return might not be all that far away. He last played for United on the final day of the 2022-23 Premier League season. In August, Ten Hag said the defender was moving in the right direction, suggesting he could be back at some point in October. He is not that far off, but he is now in a progress situation. At a relatively short notice, he can again return into team training and then into team performance in games. I think it would be possible to be available again in 2 months. October, of course, has now been and gone, and it remains to be seen when the left-back will be available for selection. Possible return date: unknown. Mainu suffered a muscle injury in the closing stages of United's 0-0 draw with Villa and has missed the last 4 matches. Ten Hag, speaking at his pre-Brentford press conference a fortnight ago, said he expected the academy graduate to be unavailable for a couple of weeks. It remains to be seen if he will be available for the visit of Chelsea. Possible return date: November 3rd, Chelsea. Eriksen was absent from the matchday squad against Leicester, watching the game from the director's box. He is understood to have pulled out of the squad through injury, but details of it have so far been kept under wraps. Possible return date: unknown. Mount has missed the last 6 matches after being forced off with a head injury that required stitches against Tottenham Hotspur on September 29th. Ten Hag, speaking ahead of last week's 1-1 draw with Fenerbahce, said, "I think a bit longer to wait for Mount. That's what we expected. I think he will be back soon." Possible return date: unknown. Explaining why Jack Fletcher had been included in the squad for the win over Brentford almost a fortnight ago, Ten Hag revealed Collier was another midfielder who had been added to the injury list. However, he stopped short of offering any detail on the nature or extent of his injury. The Manchester Evening News now understands he will be unavailable for roughly a month. Possible return date: December. Ruben Amorim's last visit to Old Trafford with former club Braga acts as a cruel reminder of the fight Manchester United have been missing. With Erik ten Hag's days in Manchester numbered, the task of looking for a successor has now been completed. Amorim agreed a deal earlier this week and has now been announced as the club's new manager. The club's hierarchy will hope that the Portuguese coach will bring with him a work ethic that has seen his sporting side lift a pair of league titles and a trio of domestic cups, as its fight and determination that the current squad appears to have lacked. However, the days of United rolling over for opponents epitomised during their 3-0 losses to both Liverpool and Tottenham. Earlier this term weren't always the norm, as evidenced by Amorim's visit to Old Trafford during his playing days that the incoming United manager played for Braga in the 2012 Champions League, and a trip to Manchester started better than many would have expected. Veteran Brazilian striker Allen netted twice inside 20 minutes to give Amorim and his side a shock 2-0 lead. But, characteristically under Sir Alex Ferguson, a comeback soon appeared on the cards as Javier Hernandez halved the deficit 5 minutes late. It would take until the 62nd minute for Johnny Evans, who still plays for the club, to equalise before Chicharito completed a spirited redemption 15 minutes before the end. The last time this Red Devils team came back to crush a 2-goal deficit was in December 2023, during a Boxing Day clash which saw Rasmus Højlund's 82-minute strike earn a 3-2 win over Aston Villa. But that's not been the case far too often in recent years. Ten Hag's recent comments about their defeat to Tottenham in September summed up the lack of belief around the club. "I ignore that game against Spurs because we were down to 10 with a 1-0 losing position, and then the red card was overturned," he shockingly admitted. "That is not a fair assessment because we didn't have the chance to bounce back." Everyone agreed it was not the right decision, that it was an injustice, and it is also an injustice to assess the team on that performance. If he had no faith in his players fighting back, it's no surprise they're severely lacking in that department. With the arrival of Amorim, there's an air of anticipation that he might extract even more from the squad than Ten Hag managed, especially having witnessed the potential of a fully charged United team. Victor Gyökeres has outlined his commitment to Sporting following Ruben Amorim's departure for Manchester United. The red-hot Swede hit 4 goals for the Portuguese Giants on Friday in their 5-1 demolition of Estrela Amadora. The first match since Amorim's move to United was confirmed. And after leading by example, Gyökeres was also quizzed on whether he would be interested in joining his current boss at Old Trafford. He said, "Going with Amorim to Man United? I don't know, I'm here. I really like being here. It's not something I think about. I'm enjoying it here. I'm sad about him leaving. We wish him all the best." The former Coventry City attacker has a whopping £85 million release clause written into his current contract. But much like Amorim, Sporting are expected to give the player their word that he can depart next summer for what they considered to be fair market value. The 26-year-old, who has been watched by the likes of Arsenal and Chelsea, has already hit 20 goals in 16 matches this season in all competitions. Amorim, meanwhile, has revealed that he tried to stay at Sporting until the end of the season, but that request was rejected. "I can't say much. It's a phase where people feel what they have to feel." I wanted to explain the situation. At the beginning of the season, and the chairman was there to confirm it, I had a conversation with him and Director of Football Hugo Viana, and I said that whatever happened, it was my last season at Sporting. He said season started, and we started to have a very good season. United came along, paid the clause above the clause, and the chairman defended his interests. I never discussed anything with the chairman. The only request I made was that it would be at the end of the season, and they told me that wasn't possible, that it was now or never. I had 3 days to decide on something that would completely change my life. It's not the first time that I've had my clause paid by another club, nor the second. I wanted that club and that context. It's just like Sporting. The 39-year-old has also opened up on how tough the choice to leave Sporting for United has been for him to make. He added, "It's very hard for me to leave. More for me than for any other Sporting fan. There was no confusion at all. We have to safeguard everyone's interests. Far from playing the victim, I had to, in this dead zone. The only person who is here is me. I said I would stay for as many games as necessary. I didn't say anything earlier because I couldn't. That's how the decision is. The club appeared that I knew that if I rejected it, I wouldn't have it in 6 months. And I knew that in 6 months I would know that I wouldn't be at Sporting. The only club that I wanted. And that moved me. It got to a point where I had to decide, and I did. Now I'm going home much more relaxed. I would have earned 3 times more with the last club that paid my clause. I gave everything I had for the club,